And welcome back. Now, world-renowned trumpeter, composer and singer Hugh Masekela will be celebrated in concert this coming weekend. Now, his Heritage Foundation will host a tribute show for the icon. The event's lineup will include the likes of Sibongile Khumalo and Pu2ma and others. And Masekela lost his battle to prostate cancer, as you would remember, and passed away in January this year. And joining us now is, of course, Mabusha Masekela, who is from the Hugh Masekela Heritage Foundation, and he is also Bra Hugh Masekela's nephew. And we will be joined, we understand he's running late, by Oliver Mtukudzi, and his punishment will be to sing when he gets here. But let me engage Mabusha. Thanks so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
So first and foremost, it's been almost a year since Bra Hugh passed away. How's the family holding up?
We're holding up good, you know. We've got a lot of support from the public and from our family members across the world, across the globe. So it's, you know, we're there. We're taking care of it.
So we're having a tribute concert this coming weekend, and we understand it's going to be over 2 days. Let's talk a bit about that. Yeah,
so just to correct you slightly, Pu2ma won't be there, but we will have the likes of Gugu Shezi, Sibongile Khumalo, Complete, which is a vocal quartet that Huey was working with and worked with before he passed, and of course Oliver Mtukudzi. And I should mention my brother, Salema Wrights, who's worked with Hugh, and actually one of the last projects that Hugh did was with Salema Wrights, who's my brother. He's a rapper.
Oh, interesting. But this was the thing about Bra Hugh, though. You know, he was always reaching out, collaborating across genres that one wouldn't necessarily think he would.
Yeah, I mean, I often hear him described as a jazz musician, and I often object quite loudly because he's really just a musician. So from, you know, rock and roll to R&B to makanga to salsa, samba, Brazil, Sweden, all over the world, you know. He played music.
And then, you know, just coming to the foundation and the work that he had done prior to his passing. Of course, one would expect the foundation to carry on with that good work, but it is, of course, also about legacy and keeping that legacy alive.
Yeah, well, you know, in his, I've always thought of him as a heritage artist, but in his latter years, that became a very important thing to him as he saw a lot of African traditions and heritage things being swept away by a more Western aesthetic. So part of the main legacy of the foundation is to promote African heritage and to revive really aspects of the culture that and also to hear the stories of the elders who carry our history with them.
And one would imagine that that would have a profound impact on organizing events that would be meant to honor him, of course.
Yeah, well, we always have a heritage aspect, but I think that it's not something that we really have to think about with Hugh because that was just sort of his default position all the time. So there's always an aspect of that in there, but it's never really a problem.
So when one thinks about Hugh, you know, and all the stories that he has told himself over the years, you know, how he received his first trumpet and all of that, in terms of the work that the foundation does, do you kind of pay that forward?
Well, the real purpose of the foundation was and is to promote heritage. That was always the focus. That was the goal. His musical legacy is something that is part of the foundation's purview, but the main focus of the foundation is what he wanted it to be, which is about heritage and tradition. There was about 2 or 3 months ago released a box set of much of his work from 66 to 76. Unfortunately not available in South Africa, but you can get it online.
Why is it not available in South Africa?
It's record company stuff and all those kind of things.
But of course,
it's a wonderful collection of which really, I think, reflects a legacy that sometimes people outside of South Africa may not be aware of, because so few of his records were available in, you know, the larger part of his career in South Africa. So that is a really wonderful legacy project that has come out.
And joining us now in all his splendor, the man himself, Oliver Mtukudzi. Thanks for joining us.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank
you for having me.
I told the viewers your punishment is you will sing. So we've set up a mic stand there. You will sing.
Okay. It's good to see you.
But of course, before we get to that, you knew Bra Hugh. You didn't just work with him. You also were close friends. What do you miss most about him?
Well, it's the way we met. Me and Bra Hugh, it was 1984. He came to Zimbabwe, and I had a show, and he happened to be in the show. So he just jumped on stage with his horn when I was playing my song Ziwere. I hate people who just interrupt my choreography. But he is a man on stage, but he's playing good. So I allowed him to carry on. I knew Hugh Masekela, but we had never met, and I didn't know him personally. So after when I took a break, that's when I looked for him to talk to him. He told me, "Is Hugh Masekela?" I was like, "What? Hugh Masekela? Playing on my song, on my set?" That was a funny way of meeting, you know.
Oh, yeah. You didn't ask for an encore. Let's do it again now that I know who you are.
Of course, I did. I wanted him to finish off the show, but we were playing until late, so he had to go. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we don't have much time left, and I think it would be an absolute travesty, Mabusha, I'm sure you will agree with me, if we don't let the great Oliver Mtukudzi sing for us. I mean, just a sneak, preview of what some of our viewers can expect this weekend, given that this concert will be taking place. We touched on it, but, for you, what does it mean performing at this tribute event?
It's just the Hugh Masekela legacy we are trying to carry on, because he's gone, but his works will never die. We're going to live with it forever. And we're trying to remind people that, hey, he's still there. We can still listen to his music. We can still play his music. Yeah.
All right. Tell you what, we are going to take a break so that we actually afford more time to the performance. But of course, it is going to be going down this weekend, the Hugh Masekela tribute show. It will take place at Empress Palace in Johannesburg from the 10th and including the 11th. So a 2-day concert this coming weekend. Let's take that break. And on the other side of that, we'll have a performance by the great Oliver Mtukudzi.